together Saturday, September 28th at Willie White Park. Michael just drowned my phone, so...
Well, he spilled over my coffee.
See what I have to deal with?
Keep going.
All right. So we've been paying attention, as we generally do, to all of the events of our nation's back and forth, up and down. A lot of it's been down lately. And I'm sorry to say that our president has seemingly eagerly grasped onto and locked into this new NAFTA on steroids. And what was the other one? Something on, the other one was, the other one was Free Trade of the Americas on crack, are the two phrases I have heard applied to this new TPP, the Trans-Pacific Partnership.
Free trade, and to talk about it, we have our friend Earl Silber.
Yeah, Earl, welcome, Earl.
Thanks to all my loyal fans out there.
All three of us.
All three of them.
Hey,
there's a lot of
give
people
numbers. Yeah,
Okay.
I'm glad you're here, Earl.
I'm glad to be here.
How come you know about this?
I live out in Elgin now, and I'm a part of the Fox Valley Citizens for Peace and Justice. And our illustrious speaker sent us an email about it, and I read it, and so I wrote a letter to the editor that got published in the Daily Herald, which is the regional paper. And then I got interested to do some more research about it, and yeah, so that's why I'm here.
So tell everyone what it is, and what it's going to do.
It's 600 U.S. corporate executives and the trade representatives of 11 countries and what they call stakeholders who are working out a deal that, if it comes to fruition, it will come before Congress. And what they want to do is they want to set up a commission that will give corporations the right to sue any government of these agreeing countries, which is Peru, which is Australia, which is Malaysia, Mexico, Canada, New Zealand, Chile, Vietnam, Mexico, which will give out any of these corporations to sue any of these governments that have any laws or regulations or rules that would inhibit their quote-unquote expected profits.
Oh, God. Meaning environmental, workers' rights.
Environment, it means agricultural restrictions on poisoning of the land of the food crops, restrictions on GMOs. It means extending what they call intellectual property rights so that big pharmaceutical companies can have indefinite extensions on their patents so that you'll never be able to get the cheaper meds. It means labor rights, it means minimum wage restrictions, it means cleaning. If we have a regulation that says the water has to be clean and another company wants to come here and has to pay for the water, but they could sue and say, well, I'm the one who have to pay to clean up your water, that's infringing on my expected profit. So really, this is just an incredible deal.
Incredible, it's a nightmare. Does when you said the nations involved, it basically includes every nation that borders on the Pacific Ocean, right?
No,
it does not include Mexico.
It includes Mexico. It includes Canada. I'm going to try to get this right the first time around. I'm going to go down the line. Canada, the U.S., Mexico, Peru, and Chile on the coast here. It includes Malaysia. It includes Vietnam. It includes Australia and New Zealand. And a small place called Brunei in the South Pacific. However, it doesn't include Japan, it doesn't include China.
Because why?
Because they're not part, I don't know because why. I know they're not part of the negotiations, but they have something called dock on, as in you can dock at the pier, you can dock your boat. If this deal goes through, any country in the region can add themselves into it and be part of it. So anyway, that Japan corporations, Chinese corporations, and so on could jump in.
Wow.
In Nicaragua, if they have anyone on the coast.
Anybody bordering the Pacific region, which is huge. They already have, so they've had 19 meetings in the last 3 years. I went this morning to the to the website of the U.S. government. If you're interested in the official line on this, you go to USTR for USTradeRepresentative.gov and go TPP, and you'll find what they say. For example, he says, this is the cornerstone of President Obama's economic policy. Yeah, I wish it were funny. And it's, they've been meeting, quote-unquote, around the clock and, quote-unquote, trying to level the playing field for U.S. workers.
Oh, God. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Level at the bottom. You forgot to say at the bottom.
Only in the last week or so did I start to hear about this, and I got it originally from an email from you. I know there's going to be a meeting out in Oak Park. I think a week from now there's going to be a meeting that's in the works for here at Oak Park. A lot of people are talking about it all of a sudden. It's been going on for a while. Clearly, it was kept out of the news, at least any news that most of us saw. Why is it happening so quickly now?
You know, I can't answer that. All I can tell you is that it is, that they've had these meetings. They just had a phone call. It was on the U.S. Trade Representatives thing. They had a phone call with 170 quote-unquote stakeholders on September 9th. They're working around the clock. I can't tell you why the rush is on, Mike, but it is scheduled for fast track. So if this is the kind of thing that worries you, that you can see impacting your life or the people you care about, one of the things you want to do is inform yourself. One of the places to go is to citizen.org, which is public citizen. They got a lot of leaks and they put it together and they have some very clear information for us. Besides the U.S. Trade Representative, I went to the AFL-CIO site. They're part of this process. They, I want to say, pretend to believe that this could open the door for exporting business and not outsourcing jobs. So that's what they say. But in fact, of course, it's going to free up businesses to invest with fewer and fewer restrictions. So you can figure out who's going to come out ahead and who's going to come out behind us.
So the AFL-CIO is actually supporting this?
Well, I would say they're critically supporting it. If you go to their website, you'll see that they are against this Trans-Pacific Partnership. Proposes to set up 3-person panels which will hear the complaints of any company that says they're going to lose expected profits. And who's going to sit on these panels? Corporate lawyers who are going to take the lead from their corporation to sit on it. And if it's passed by the governments, it means that this treaty will supersede, control, overrule all domestic laws, and the domestic laws will have to be brought in accordance, or the corporations can be paid by government money for their expected losses.
Jeez.
What does the longshoremen's workers say?
Yeah, what do the longshoremen workers say?
You know, I don't
That's a good
know.
question.
There's a developing story here.
You'd have to look because they just withdrew from the AFL-CIO. And I haven't thought about that, and I don't have the answer to that.
That's a good
If you go to
question.
ilwnewsnet.org, we'll find out.
You're a student of many things in the world affairs. Can you give our listeners who may not know or have realized the effects of what a trade agreement like NAFTA has done? Because my sense is that this is a similar kind of a deal and will impact people in a similar way.
Well, it is similar, and Katie said it's like NAFTA on steroids, and that's a good way to put it, because the other trade agreements also set up panels and also set up the ability of corporations to sue when government regulations restrict their quote-unquote expected profits. So this is not new, but it's expanded tremendously here. That's why it is on steroids. And one of the things that NAFTA did is it eased restrictions on exports for example, American corn, which put out of business, which drove out of business about 500,000 Mexican farmers or subsistence farmers. And so that fueled a lot of unrest because the people had no way to feed themselves. One of the things it did was it forced people into desperation to go wherever they could find work, including in the United States. And it meant hundreds of thousands of previously jobs that had been in North America went to Mexico. And of course, it's also to facilitate corporate profits, costing the environment, costing jobs, costing livelihoods.
I get increasingly freaked out by the corporatization of our nation's
Katie,
Gifts.
it's scary as hell.
It really
It's
is.
not, what we're seeing here is the attempt to integrate the competing interests of big capitalism all over the world
Right.
into these agreements. For example, right now there's also something going on called the Transatlantic Trade and Investment Partnerships. And if you go TTIP, they're trying to set up the same kind of thing between the EU and the United States. So this is the evolution of big business, but they have competing interests. And so this deal, if they never reach a form of a treaty because they're fighting it out, for example, Philip Morris is currently suing the government of Australia because the government of Australia won't allow them to market camels in the camel packages. And so they have to market in Australia in just blank packages with no big advertising. So they can't use their logo and all their advertising. So they're suing already. So now these are the kind of conflicts that are going on. American exporters of farm products want to export to New Zealand, but they have dairy products of their own.
Yeah.
So they're fighting it out. This is the venue they're fighting it out. And it's all secret. Did I forget to mention that if you
Not no more. Not no more.
know,
We're on this station, we spread the word.
Millions of listeners are hearing this. And we love it.
and the thing is, I have to laugh, of course, but
Back to the not funny.
I was part of a delegation from our Peace and Justice Group. We went to visit Tammy Duckworth, who's a representative from our region, and she, of course, had already gone. She went to ask about the TPP, and they told her, you have to have a secret clearance to see what's been worked out so far. There are 26 chapters that have been worked on. And you cannot copy any of it, and you cannot take any of it home, and you cannot show any of it, but we'll tell you what's in it. So it's being kept a secret, and if you want to get active about this, besides informing yourself and bringing it up in any group you're part of, neighborhood group, union, church group, whatever, you ask they've got a schedule. If it happens, it'll go through fast track. And fast track means that there will be no amendments, you'll have to vote it down as it is. You cannot have any changes made in it. And that's a good place to stop it if it comes before Congress. So if you want to be proactive about it, you talk to your congressman, but first you have to build up information and support among your friends and people that you know and you work with.
And how's that going? The organizing against, the organizing to inform people.
You know, Katie, I don't know. Because I'm just new to this myself, and we're just trying to get information out, and I really don't know. I know the Public Citizen is doing work around this. And as I said, the AFL-CIO is critical of it, but they're part of the process, just as they are, in my experience, just as most of the national unions support the companies in their industry and they prioritize being profitable over maybe workers' rights.
Could you wonder the union movement is not flourishing a little more than it is?
Could be, that's why, yes, Katie, I would say you're absolutely right.
We are next week going to talk about unions and State of the Union movement and some really good things that are happening in the union movement.
Well, the only other good thing I would say is, in addition to the corporate, pro-corporate agenda going global, so is the movement growing global. And right now, for example, today is the draw the line activities against Keystone Pipeline, and that's going from Canada down, and a lot of agreement on that, a lot of work being done across many borders from here across the sea. It's harder for U.S. citizens always to imagine our partners elsewhere, but that is growing as well, thanks to a younger generation who actually sees the world.
Actually, I think that's the most hopeful thing is the
The
growing partnership and the working together of the corporate elites of the competing companies around the world to set up their dictatorship, because this would be a dictatorship. It would bypass all the laws of all these countries, and it would set up as the supreme power over deciding would be these three-person corporate lawyer panels. But the flip side is, because capital is organizing itself globally, people in the world, the working class people, the middle class people, the people who are concerned about these things, the people who are impacted, people who are involved in environment and water and of Health and Safety and Neighborhood are also having to come together because precisely our enemies are international and so our allies. If we're going to have any hope, it's exactly what you said. That is the ray of sunshine.
Okay.
So on that, we should thank you.
Thanks, guys. Thank you. We are listening to the Highland Show, and we're about to bring up members of the Lincoln Show.